The blood moon is coming. You might be hearing everyone talking about it. So here's everything you need to know if you're a spiritualist like me, a realistic one. Tuesday, March 3rd is when this remarkable event will happen, and the moon will slowly transform into a deep glowing crimson red. And this event has captivated civilizations for thousands of years and continues to hold both scientific and cultural significance to this day. Here's what makes this one particularly noteworthy. It's the last blood moon visible until 28. That alone makes it worth your full attention to maybe try to see it. Science behind the color, it's a little bit more involved. A blood moon occurs during a total lunar eclipse when Earth positions itself directly between the sun and the moon, casting its shadow completely over the lunar surface. And what makes this more than just a darkening of the moon is kind of what happens after that. So as the sunlight passes through the edge of the Earth, it filters through our atmosphere, and that atmosphere scatters shorter blue wavelengths of light while allowing longer red and orange wavelengths to pass through. So the result is that every sunrise and sunset occurring on Earth at that moment is essentially projected onto the surface of the moon. So it's bathing in a warm, haunting red glow. So the total lunar eclipse is when the moon fully appears red, and that will last about 58 minutes, and with the entire event spanning about 5 hours. So take a look where you're at in the world to see when that might be where you can see it. What's fascinating about the blood moon is how universally it has commanded human attention across history and how different it has been interpreted. Ancient civilizations across Babylon, China, Mesopotamia broadly viewed it as an omen, often connected to the fate of rulers, kingdoms, or the natural order. The Inca Empire believed the moon was under attack by a celestial jaguar, and communities would respond with drums, noise, rituals to drive it away. The Native American traditions, it was interpreted as a sign that the moon required healing, so it was more communal care. Islamic cultures treated it as a time for heightened prayer and spiritual reflection. In African spiritual traditions, the blood moon was associated with ancestral presence, a moment when the connection between the living and those who came before was believed to be especially close. In contemporary spiritual metaphysical communities, the blood moon is widely regarded as one of the most energetically potent lunar events of the year. A total lunar eclipse is understood to amplify the energy of a full moon considerably, making it a period associated with release, transformation, and intentional renewal. The symbolism is consistent across many traditions. Something is ending, something is being shed, and something new is preparing to emerge. Astrological lens, it's in the Virgo. It's Virgo's theme of purification. From an astrological standpoint, the blood moon carries particular weight because it falls in the sun sign of Virgo, a sign deeply associated with discernment, healing, health, and refinement. Some astrologers are framing this one as an opportunity to examine the structures of daily life, routines, habits, wellness, and the ways we show up for ourselves, our families, and others. The overarching message being echoed across things and readings is one of purification and release, a call to step away from patterns rooted in stress or survival and consciously move towards clarity and ease. I've seen one astrologer describe it pretty well. He said that this eclipse encourages us to stop operating in survival mode and to rediscover what ease actually means. Whether or not astrology is part of your belief system, that sentiment resonates with a healthy variety of people. So how can you engage with this event? Regardless of where you stand in the spiritual significance, the blood moon on March 3rd offers something meaningful for everybody. So mark your calendar. Go outside, and this is going to be the last total lunar eclipse until 28. So that's nearly 3 years without one. So find a clear sky if possible, step outside, look up, you're further west, and take time to reflect. Cultures across every continent have used this event as a natural pause point, like an invitation to consider what you're carrying forward and what you're ready to leave behind. These are the kinds of moments that have connected people across generations, and they're worth passing on to your family, your children, and friends. The blood moon is one of those rare events that bridges the gap between science and human meaning pretty effortlessly. The physics is precise and well understood, but the feeling it produces when you're standing underneath the sky, that is never needed explanation. People have always just known that there's something bigger than us. So what does this mean for the collective, for people? Well, there's something in the air, obviously, and it's kind of hard to articulate, but most people who are paying close attention can feel this. It's like a quiet restlessness, a sense that something beneath the surface is shifting. And if you've been more emotional, more reflective, more unsettled than usual, you're not imagining it. What you might be feeling around these days of the lunar eclipse is going to be emotionally charged by nature, and so this one will be no exception. It tends to surface always, when it does surface, it's always uncomfortable. But the most common experience right now will include heightened emotional sensitivity, conversations landing harder than expected, old wounds resurfacing, a general feeling of rawness that's asking to be acknowledged rather than pushed aside. And many people are also reporting unusual, vivid, or heavy dreams as the subconscious works through things the waking mind hasn't fully processed yet. Alongside that comes a persistent sense of urgency, or restlessness, a feeling of standing at a crossroads, not quite sure which direction to step, but deeply aware that something needs to change. There's going to be truths coming to the surface. Lunar eclipses have a well-earned reputation for surfacing what's been hidden. And that's Virgo moon delivers what astrologers call clarity that cannot be ignored. So this can show up as a conversation you've been avoiding finally happening, sudden awareness of a pattern or situation that's no longer workable, or someone in your life, or yourself, revealing something that fundamentally shifts your perspective. If something in your life has quietly been off, this eclipse has a way of pulling back the curtain on it and being very direct with it. Relationships tend to be where eclipse energy is felt most. Connections built on genuine foundations may experience just a meaningful deepening, like honest conversations, renewed clarity, a stronger sense of what you mean to each other. Connections held together by avoidance may feel the strain more acutely than usual. The eclipse isn't creating the tension, it's simply illuminating what was already there. So the core question it raises is straightforward. Is this relationship honest? Is it nourishing you? Is it built on something real? When it comes to your health and daily habits, Virgo, definitely this eclipse falls being in Virgo, the sign most associated with the body, wellness, and daily routines. Physical health and lifestyle habits are definitely going to be in focus. People may find themselves confronting health matters they've been postponing, recognizing that certain patterns of overwork or self-neglect may have reached a tipping point, feeling a strong pull towards simplifying or recalibrating how they spend their energy day to day. Body tends to speak clearly during this window, so it's definitely worth listening to your body. Career and purpose, for many, this eclipse will quietly stir something around professional direction. The question that surfaces isn't just whether you're performing well, it's whether the work you're doing still aligns with who you're becoming. So some people will receive unexpected news, others will arrive at a quiet but firm internal decision. But either way, eclipses tend to accelerate what was already in motion. Spiritually, what's being asked? Well, at its core, this blood moon is a portal of release. So spirituality, it's asking people to honestly examine what they're still carrying. Old identities, old stories, patterns rooted in stress and survival, and begin settling them down. Making traditions describes eclipse periods as moments of karmic completion, the end of a long cycle, finally arriving at its natural close. Intuition also tends to run unusually strong during this window, so pay attention to what arises quietly within you. Not everything needs to be acted out immediately, but most of it is worth at least writing down, so definitely be journaling. So, suggestions on how I would move through this period. A few grounding reminders. Hold off on major irreversible decisions until after the eclipse passes. The clarity is real, but so is the intensity. Let things settle first. Rest more than it feels necessary. These eclipse windows are energetically demanding, even for those not consciously tuned in. So journal what comes up. The insights that surface during this time are worth capturing, and they often prove more significant in retrospect than they appear in the moment. Don't resist the emotion. Feeling more than usual right now. It's just the way it is, so more often. Don't resist the emotions. Feeling more than usual right now isn't a sign something's wrong. It means something is finally being processed. So what this blood moon ultimately offers is a moment of genuine, unfiltered clarity. The universe is creating conditions to see clearly. What you do with that clarity is yours to decide, but the seeing itself, that's just the gift.